My name is Ashley, and I'm 25 years old. I dated Carter for a year before he proposed. Will you marry me? It was the typical proposal line, and he opened a ring box, just like in the movies. But I was over the moon. From the start, we both knew we wanted to get married. We even shared the same dream of having 2 kids, ideally a boy and a girl. We'll always work together on chores and raising our kids, Carter promised. I felt reassured and looked forward to our married life. How lucky am I to marry Ashley? Life with the one you love is the best. I think I was living half in a dream, swept up by his sweet, textbook perfect words. But reality wasn't as dreamy. A sweet and comfortable life has turned into a cruel one. 6 months into our marriage, I found out I was pregnant, and with twins. Seriously? A boy and a girl? Fraternal twins? Our dream family, all at once! Carter was thrilled at first, but as my morning sickness worsened, his mood soured. When you're always looking sick, it brings me down, he said coldly. But I really don't feel well. I felt defeated, struggling even to speak, and he didn't seem to understand. Even after the morning sickness subsided, I developed toxemia of pregnancy. I suffered from headaches, ringing in my ears, and swelling. It felt like I had no control over my own body. But whenever I mentioned it, Carter's mood worsened. Ringing ears and swelling? Aren't those old people problems? Maybe if you moved around more, you'd be a healthier pregnant woman. What does a healthy pregnant woman even mean? I never imagined pregnancy would be this tough. I had to take a leave from work. I felt lonely at home and wished someone was with me. But being with Carter was stressful. He was always grumpy and constantly complained. One day, a coworker brought some treats and visited. She had been kind and concerned about me since my morning sickness started. I felt at ease for the first time in a while. I brought some cake. I figured you might not be up for hosting with how you've been feeling. Carter, who usually came home late and often worked on weekends, suddenly came home early. I thought you had to work today. Before I could react, Carter exaggeratedly shrugged. Well, I was worried about you, and since your friend is here, you should relax. Leave everything to me. Although he usually ignored me, he brought a blanket and draped it over me, then sat next to me and massaged my arm. My coworker was visibly impressed, and I couldn't help but admire this side of him. He's so different now. I accidentally let my true feelings slip. Did you say something? He asked, with a forceful smile. Nothing. The truth was, Carter only played the role of the ideal husband when others were watching. He was all talk and no action. He had promised to share household and parenting duties, but it seemed he had forgotten all about it. He never lifted a finger unless someone was watching. You're just lazing around at home since you're not working, he'd retort when I asked for help. If I felt better, I'd be up and about, but every day is a struggle. Have you ever tried to imagine what that's like? No matter how much I protested, he dismissed my concerns as overblown. I wished I could go back to my parents' home for the birth, but they lived far away and were taking care of my elderly grandmother. Plus, they lived in a very rural area. Given my health and the fact that I was expecting twins, I couldn't move away from our home near medical facilities. In the end, I went through my pregnancy without ever feeling truly well. I gave birth while still feeling unwell and then had to dive into the challenges of raising twins. Time flew by as I cared for the twins. Feeding, sleeping, changing diapers, nothing happened conveniently. Problems arose simultaneously, and there was no end in sight. I'd find myself dozing off while feeding them, waking up to their cries, or feeling too weak to even hold them. It was chaos. Yet, Carter seemed oblivious. Or rather, he was hardly ever home. When he was, he'd just complain about the noise. It's too loud! Can't you quiet them down? On the rare occasion he was home for dinner, he'd say, I'm so tired. Hurry up with dinner. I'm starving. He'd plop down on the sofa as if it was a given. I haven't prepared anything. At my response, Carter got angry. Why not? Nothing. I hadn't slept properly for days, let alone remembered when I last ate. The last thing on my mind was preparing dinner for a husband who might not even eat it. Just make something with whatever we have, he ordered, ignoring the crying children. Stop them from crying! You're their mother! I felt trapped in the hardest days of my life. Hey, Ashley, my parents are coming over tomorrow since you said yours are. They want to give a birth gift. Just order some pizza. He mentioned this after the pizza places had closed for the night. But ordering everything might look bad. Ashley, whip up something, quick! He said it as if it was a given, and I panicked. Wait, Carter, I don't have much in the fridge, and I can't go shopping alone with the twins. I need your help. He had never seen how hard it was to shop with twins. But, you're so annoying! I regret marrying you. You can't do anything, can you? Do you even try? He threw those words at me and went to sleep with earplugs. The next morning, while I was busy with the twins, he disappeared. You've gotta be kidding. I was in shock. I couldn't manage everything on my own. What do I do? As I rocked my daughter in her crib and breastfed my son, I dozed off while planning a grocery trip. Ashley, are you here? I heard my mom's voice and the doorbell ringing, jolting me awake. Oh no! I rushed to greet her. Mom, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. I need to go shopping, and Carter's parents are coming. I haven't even ordered the pizza! When I saw my mom, tears streamed down my face, and my voice trembled. Calm down, dear. Come here. Seeing me distraught and teary-eyed, Mom told me to lie down on the sofa. You look awful, honey. Just rest for a bit. You've got such dark circles under your eyes. Just then, my in-laws arrived. Seeing my face, my mother-in-law immediately made a phone call, looking upset. Meanwhile, my father-in-law comforted my crying daughter. Ashley, do the twins cry a lot? Carter was a big crier when he was a baby, so we were worried. With a warm smile, father-in-law comforted me, while Mom began unpacking a large bag in the kitchen. After her call, mother-in-law held my sleeping son, patting my shoulder sympathetically. It was the first time since I'd come home from the hospital over a month ago that I had a break from the twins, housework, and Carter's constant complaints. A wave of relief washed over me, followed by overwhelming exhaustion, and tears streamed down my face. Thank you so much. By the time the delicious aroma of soup wafted from the kitchen, Carter returned home. Oh, everyone's here already! Perfect timing, Ashley. What did you make? Let's eat, he said, approaching the table, but then he frowned. Ashley, I thought you were making something fancy. This looks so plain. Where's the pizza? Didn't you order delivery? He looked around, searching for the pizza. I'm sorry, mother-in-law. We wanted to treat you to some good pizza since you came to the city. Ashley's been saying her taste is off lately, so she probably made something that doesn't taste good. Oh, let me help clear this up. Carter tried to play the good husband, but I was fed up. At the same time, something suddenly bubbled up from the bottom of my stomach. Carter, the person who made this tasteless food is my mom. I glared at him. What? Caught off guard, Carter froze. Ashley's mom is a nutritionist. She made all this low-sodium, additive-free food, especially for Ashley, father-in-law said, glaring at Carter. My plain homemade food. I'm sorry it looks so poor to you, Carter. Mom sighed, while mother-in-law shot him a fiery look. Surrounded by angry stares, Carter tried to recover. I must have been mistaken. Wow, this looks so nutritious. Perfect. Of course, Mom didn't buy his insincere compliment, and it seemed to further anger my in-laws. Don't try to cover up your mistake. Where have you been all this time? What have you been doing? Father-in-law's voice was restrained, likely to avoid waking the babies, but it was stern. Well, Distressed, Carter broke out in a cold sweat. From what I've heard, you barely help out with household chores or childcare. On top of that, what you did today just added more burden. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Cornered by his father-in-law, Carter felt trapped. Huh? Well, maybe Ashley's just overthinking things. Carter tried to dodge the issue, but standing before him were his own parents, who knew him inside out. What his mother-in-law placed in Carter's outstretched hand were earplugs, found in the bedroom only Carter now uses. Who on earth wears earplugs to sleep because their own child's crying is too loud? His father-in-law's eyes widened in disbelief. Wait, Dad, it's not what you think. These are for— Enough! I said I heard it. To Carter's dismay, his father-in-law showed him a voice recorder. From it, played a conversation between Carter and me from the day before. So annoying. So annoying. I really messed up. Why did I even marry someone like you? You're so useless. Do you even care? Why do you have that? Ashley? Looking at me with disbelief, I explained. When I felt unwell, I'd miss instructions or forget things. You'd get mad, so since I was pregnant, I've been recording our conversations to review when I'm feeling better. Yes, severe headaches and ringing in my ears often made me distracted, but Carter disliked that. So once my morning sickness subsided, I started recording whenever Carter began talking. As Ashley's mother, I might be biased, but seeing my daughter struggling with twins, barely eating or sleeping, and having a partner who only complains and doesn't help, it's hard to bear. I was shocked to see her today. Dark circles under her eyes, swollen face, barely able to hold her babies or walk steadily. She looks like she needs to be hospitalized. Hearing my mom's anger, a small whimper escaped from Carter's throat. I'm sorry. I apologize. If you're a parent, use the right words. Overwhelmed by my mom's fury, Carter couldn't speak properly. What your mom said is right. I've already arranged for Ashley to be admitted to a hospital I know. After she has a hearty meal, you'll take her there. You better take good care of the kids. Hearing his father-in-law's words, Carter turned pale. No way! That's impossible! I can't do it! I've never done it before! Ashley, it's not that bad, right? I'll be more attentive from now on. Just stay home, okay? Carter pleaded, but my mom cut him off. Didn't Ashley say the same thing to you? That she's never taken care of the twins before and can't do it? That's not the same. Ugh. Carter realized his mistake, but it was too late. Exactly, it's not the same, right? It's a mother's duty to care for her children. That's what you said, right? So, who should take care of the kids while the mother is hospitalized? Like a teacher questioning a student, my mom cornered Carter. It's me. There was no other answer he could give. I understand you can't just take time off work, so I'll help during the day. I'll also stay overnight, just in case. But you need to manage, mostly on your own. But Dad, don't whine like that. Think about it. Including your commute and breaks, you work roughly 10 hours a day. In contrast, childcare is a 24/7 job. And if we compare it to a regular job, taking care of twins is like handling unpredictable and challenging customer complaints on top of your usual tasks. You can't set your own pace, and you often can't even eat or sleep properly. Given Ashley's condition, it's like she's also dealing with the flu. I was impressed by the father-in-law's spot-on analogy. It perfectly described my life over the past month. But, enough with the excuses! You need to experience it firsthand. It's about time you step up and do what you've been leaving to Ashley. Don't you have any pride as a father? As Carter's eyes welled up with tears, his father-in-law pressed on, and his mother-in-law backed him up. If you can't handle it, maybe you two shouldn't be married. Ashley, you can always come back home after a divorce. The house will be lively with the babies. Divorce? And not seeing my adorable grandchildren? Would you be so heartless? Faced with their coordinated attack, Carter's face went through a roller coaster of emotions. Ashley. He looked at me with teary eyes, but I had reached my limit. While I'm in the hospital, you won't have to care for me. So in a way, you'll have it easier than I did. At least you won't have to deal with a husband who's never around and only nags. Ugh. Carter choked on his words, and I couldn't help but chuckle. A little payback felt good. In the hospital where I was admitted, I slept deeply for the first time in what felt like forever. When I woke up, almost a full day had passed, and I was surprised that I still felt sleepy. During my stay, my mother-in-law visited daily with my kids, showing me that breastfeeding wasn't a chore, but a way to nurture love. Carter was running around, following every instruction from mother-in-law. Holding our crying twins, he said, "Ashley, when are you coming home?" It felt like the first time since before we were married that he really needed me. "You shouldn't make them cry. You're their father, right?" "Oh, what?" I said, reminding him of a past comment, and Carter looked taken aback. After some rest and treatment, my health improved significantly. When I returned home under the strict supervision and guidance of mother-in-law, Carter, albeit awkwardly, had learned to take care of the twins. On the advice of both our families, I had Carter write a pledge and divorce papers, which I keep stored away. The idea is that if anything happens, I can immediately divorce him, return to my parents' home, and claim compensation from Carter. I hope we never have to use those papers and can continue to live happily.